Thank you for listening to the New Pitts Mortuary's Morning Gospel Hour. The New Pitts Mortuary is dedicated to serve and remember us in your time of need. We can be reached at 414-447-6000. We are more than a business. We are a ministry.
You're listening to WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee. The views and opinions expressed on this show do not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
It's like a diamond ring, it's a precious thing, and we never want to lose it. It's like a favorite song that we love to sing. Every time we hear the music, and we're in this love together. We got the kind that lasts forever. We're in this love together. And like berries on the vine, it gets sweeter all the time.
Good morning. This is Karen Dodson from the All of Us Research Program at the Medical College of Wisconsin. We have an urban vibes today, and you're going to join us at the table. So we're just asking that for the next couple hours, you would just take time. I always tell people to get your tea, your coffee, your water, because we're going to have some serious conversation. I have people around the table today that I'm excited about what they're going to be able to offer to the community as far as information. And so we're going to just start diving right in on it. And I wanted to introduce to you some people that are sitting around the table today. I have Taquanda.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Taquanda Gilbert Crampton. I'm the Community Engagement Manager with the All of Us Research Program at the Medical College of Wisconsin.
Thank you, Taquanda. And then also I have Dr. Kevin Izzard.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here. I am a physician in Milwaukee. I'm the president of the Cream City Medical Society, and I've been asked to be part of the investigation team for the All of Us program. So I'm now a community primary investigator. So I'm happy to be on board.
And I love it because he keeps us straight, you know what I'm saying, with the community. And also he allows for us to really get a better and clearer understanding of what the community is looking at, you know, with his colleagues, especially at Cream City. So we appreciate that, Dr. Izzard. And we have Deb Nevels with us.
Good morning. Good morning. Deb Nevels. I am Program Manager for Community Outreach and Engagement for the Medical College of Wisconsin Cancer Center. Also pleased to be here and help out.
You know, it's always a pleasure. Last week we had some serious conversations as it related to cancer and as it relates to our colon. And so we had quite a few people calling back. And so we brought Deb back again to talk about some issues related to cancer. But we're also going to have some other conversations today. And it's going to be related to a couple of things. And one thing, and, you know, Dr. Izzard is going to talk about that. And then the first half, and then the second half, we're going to have people that really talk about what exactly they're doing for screening for some of these situations that we'll be bringing up today. So I would like for us to have Taquanda just kind of talk a little bit about the All of Us Research Program and how research is so important as far as we move forward with healthcare.
Yes, of course. The All of Us Research Program is a part of the Precision Medicine Initiative. So what precision medicine mean is customization of your healthcare. So for example, if you wear eyeglasses, when you go to your eye exam, they measure your eye, they do different tests and do different screenings, and they take your lenses and make sure that prescription works just for you. So, opposed to going to your provider where you get medication for a certain illness, they have you tested out. It's not really customized to you. It's kind of more of a trial and error situation. So, we want to try to eliminate that by our community participating in the All of Us research program. So that way you'll get a treatment that's based on you as an individual with components such as your environment, your lifestyle, and your genetics. So we want to make sure that our community are aware of this opportunity so you can learn more about your health.
And then we're going to have actually some of our team in the community. And so, Taquanda, if you could really speak to that a little bit, and then we're going to dive into some of the other things. But I like for people to know about the All of Us research program and the importance of why you want to be involved in research. And also, you're going to have opportunity in parts of the community to see our team, to ask questions if you would like, and also to join the program. So if you could just give us a brief update on some of the things we'll be doing in the next few weeks.
Yes, for example, this upcoming Saturday, we do have a few community pop-ups. The pop-up is an opportunity for those that are interested to enroll into the program. That's for you to create that online account and do the second portion of the program, which is a clinical visit where you donate your biospecimen samples and receive that $25 gift card to Walmart or Target. So this Saturday, April 6th, we'll be hosting a pop-up at our home base location, which is the Curative Care on Fredericton Medical College campus. The address is 1000 North 92nd Street. We'll be there from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we also have another pop-up event at Light of the World Church that will be more on our south side of Milwaukee at 1570 West Greenfield Avenue. And we'll be there from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And we also have opportunities for you to learn more about our program, such as doing a presentation about our program. So basically going over the benefits and the great things that we do. We'll be hosting that presentation at New Hope Missionary Baptist Church on Saturday, April 20th. The address is 2433 West Roosevelt Drive, and that presentation will be at 11 a.m.
And it's so interesting because not only that, we also have Dr. Izzard that's going to be doing a presentation next week, Thursday, and it's called Sci Starter. It's a virtual event, and it's called Taking Charge of Your Health. And so we'll be giving out more information about where and how you can access that link to it's going to be a Zoom presentation. And we're going to have people throughout the state presenting as well. And then you can also have a chance to have questions. So we're going to dive right into what our conversation is going to be today. And as we started looking at a lot of different topics and questions that people have, we wanted to make sure we definitely have the topic of cancer back with us again. But before we do that, I also want to look at some of the things that have been challenging for our community as it relates to African Americans and our health. And some of those things are like cardiovascular disease and also fatty liver. Fatty liver. So I was just going to ask Dr. Kevin Izzard if you could just let the community know what are some of the reasons why we need to be concerned with those areas, and what are some of the things and challenges and illnesses we see behind some of those things.
Yeah, when we're talking about cardiovascular disease, we're talking about a very broad area, and most of us are affected by it because that includes things like high blood pressure, obesity and overweight, diabetes, high cholesterol. They all kind of intersect at this what we call metabolic syndrome. So we know that people who are overweight and who have these conditions are more likely to have heart attacks, and so part of what we're doing when we're doing research is try to figure out why is that. We know that diabetics, the risk of having a heart attack if you're diabetic is the same as someone who's had a heart attack already. So there are things going on in our body that we don't all completely understand. And so I think a lot of it comes down to is this intersection between what's going on in your body and what we're doing in our environment. So a lot of these things we think might be related to the foods we're eating, the lifestyles we're living, whether exercise or not. And so those are things that again, would intersect with our social and our political systems. So if there's no gym around, then, or you can't walk outside because you're not safe, well, then that affects your health too. So all these things are interconnected. We were talking the other day about fatty liver disease, and most people have probably never heard of fatty liver disease. What happens is when you eat, especially if you eat too much or eat a lot of fatty foods, um, that fat starts to accumulate in your liver, and it actually affects the liver. And in fact, it can affect the liver to the point that well, first of all, you start just storing fat, so you might feel some discomfort in your abdomen, like it's on the right side. That's where your liver is. So it might be like right side underneath your rib cage. You might feel like, it feels kind of full there. Well, if I bend forward or things like that. Eventually, you can store enough fat that the liver cells start to be affected. They start to break down, and so that they call that hepatitis. And then that in turn can cause liver scarring. People know about liver cirrhosis. And it could even cause cancer. So, this fatty liver disease can be, a very serious thing. It's estimated that about anywhere between 20 and 45% of the population have fatty liver, and most people don't know they even have it. And so it may be something that, if you are at risk, meaning that you have one of those other things we talked about earlier, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, you're overweight, you might want to discuss with your doctor about, about whether you should be screened for fatty liver disease. But it is a chronic condition that can be fixed by changing your lifestyle.
Wow. That's really interesting, Dr. Isser, because when I was reading, and it was really alarming to me, that it is estimated that every other African American, that's 1 in 2, has a fatty liver. And so I was really surprised because it really affects our community a lot more than some of the other communities from what I've been reading.
Yeah, the interesting thing that I found with this is that I looked at meta-analysis, so that's like a study of studies. And we're always at the top of everything. Whether
What is that?
I know whether it's cancer or heart disease,
I'm trying to figure it out.
What
is going
diabetes.
on with us, right?
But it appears that we are actually less likely to have fatty liver disease. Believe it or not, yeah. But the popular people who need to worry about this are our Hispanic brothers and sisters, because they are more likely, that have fatty liver disease, and then followed by white people, and then African Americans. So we actually are not at the top of that
Well,
on that list.
That's good to know. And is it because hereditary factors, or is it also related to the way we eat and exercise?
See, again, that's research. We don't know. We know African Americans. We do well. Particularly African American women tend to be more obese, than the general population. And we know that obesity is related to this fatty liver disease. But yeah, there's something else going on. Again, it may be the kind of foods we're eating, whether you have foods that are high in fat. And even then, what kinds of fat are you eating? Are you eating, trans fats, which are probably gonna be hard to get trans fats now. They've been taken out of most foods. But those are you eating a lot of fatty food. It is, yeah. It's, to me, I thought it was interesting, and that, it is a question about why is it that that we're less likely, even though we are more likely to have those other comorbidities, meaning those other things like the diabetes and the high blood pressure.
And I was just thinking about, you mentioned diabetes and high blood pressure is also affecting this disease. Can you give me a little bit more information on why is that? High blood pressure and diabetes.
High blood. Again, it's part of, there's this whole syndrome they call a metabolic syndrome, and I kind of threw that term out there. So what happens is when the more you weigh, your body becomes resistant to insulin. Okay, we all know about insulin. We associate insulin with diabetes. Well, insulin works in your body by taking the blood sugar. You have to eat something that food breaks down and floats around. Glucose floats around in your bloodstream, and the insulin takes it from being in your bloodstream to being in your muscles where you can use it. if you don't have insulin, you can't get that glucose into your muscles, and basically your body has to find other things, and so it starts burning muscle and other things. So people who have type 1 diabetes who don't make insulin, if they don't get insulin, they're going to die. They have to have some insulin. Most people, however, 90% of people are type 2 diabetics, meaning that they are making insulin. The problem is that their body's resistant to the insulin. And the more you weigh, the more resistant you become. And so if we took insulin levels in people that have type 2 diabetes, what we'll find is we won't find that their insulin level is low. In fact, we'll find that it's probably high because their pancreas is trying to compensate for that resistance by making more insulin. And so at that high insulin state actually affects other organs. And so that's when the metabolic syndrome comes in, because that high insulin now makes the liver start to store fat. It starts making these other things, other hormones start to rise, which result in obesity, which again feeds back into the insulin resistance. And so this high insulin state is a problem for the body. And in fact, when we look at medications like, you've all heard about Ozempic, the way some of these work is that they're counter-regulatory. So they're actually working to lower the insulin level. What do you think, if someone's got diabetes, why do you want to lower the insulin level? It's it's kind of complicated. But just suffice it to say that this high insulin level that people have can cause all kind of problems. The big one being that it increases your risk for cardiovascular disease. So building up cholesterol in your arteries that block your heart, and your brain, predispose you to stroke and heart disease.
That's really interesting when you mention about Ozempic, because that has been a buzzword when you listen to the radio, when you watch television right now. Some of the stars are starting to, say that they've been taking this, and then different locations say that they're going to start offering it for people. And I was just wondering about that. Is that really something that's healthy? I'm kind of changing the subject, but I wanted to know, is that healthy for people? I mean, because I think we all want to know. Because I was like, wow, this is something that you can just take this shot or take whatever this is, and then I can start losing weight. I mean, everything is kind of scary when it's easy. So can you explain that to us, Doc?
When a drug gets approved by the FDA to be used in general public, it has to prove that it's safe. Okay. And there's a very low bar for it to be approved. It has to prove that it's better than placebo. So better than sugar pill. That's a very low bar. Most medications that you see, like, stuff that's on TV that's advertised, it can't even prove that it's better than placebo. So because if they could, they would actually make a prescription, and it costs a lot more. They'd make a lot more money. But so a lot of those over-the-counter stuff for weight loss don't work. But the ones that do get approved, we're showing probably like a 5 to 10% body loss lowering your body weight. So let's say you weigh 200 pounds, you're talking about losing 10 pounds, 10 to 20 pounds, which is not bad. It's good, but there was nothing to get people really excited. Then Ozempic came out. So Ozempic was really a diabetes medication. And they noticed that people who were using it, a lot of diabetes medications, like I said, they raise insulin because they're trying to overcome the resistance. And so people start gaining weight. Well, Ozempic is one of these few medications that did not cause weight gain. And in fact, people were losing weight when they took it. So someone had the idea of saying, okay, well, we're trying to get people to lose weight. What if we increase the dose of the Ozempic? And what they found was that it had a very dramatic effect. People were losing, instead of 5 to 10% of their body weight, they were losing 20% of their body weight. Wow. So now you're talking about, if you're 200 pounds, losing 40 pounds. Now that can really make a difference. And so, so the people who manufacture Ozempic said, okay, we're going to go for a whole other indication. So they applied to the FDA to use the medication, semaglutide, as a weight loss medication. And they rebranded it. So instead of it being called Ozempic, it's now called Wegovy. Same medication, just a different name and a higher dose. Then after that, there's another medication. This medication is in the class we call GLP-1, glucagon-like peptide. So it's a hormone that your body normally makes that kind of balances off insulin. So it mimics that kind of protein. So there's another medication, another GLP-1, Manjaro, that was out there also for diabetes. And they said, oh, well, why don't we see what ours does? So they increased theirs, and they found that they not only got 20% loss in their body weight, they got 25%. So they're even better.
Wow.
And so Manjaro now rebranded, and now they got approved just in November by the FDA for their medication. And theirs is the weight loss version is Zepbound. But there's another one that's going to be coming out in studies right now that's where it took a year for people to lose the weight and get down to that 20% or 25%. There's another medication now that's coming out that in the initial studies, it got them there in about 12 weeks. So
wow.
Yeah, so I think we're on a cusp of a revolution now in weight loss stuff, and a lot of it's focused now on proteins. Talk about precision medicine. That's kind of that's the results of of doing these studies and finding out what you can do, and I'm sure that the time is coming where when you go to a doctor, if you're overweight, we know that some things work for some people. Some people do well with low carb diets. Some people do well with intermittent fasting. We're gonna be able to figure out what it is that what's going to work better for you.
Personalized healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what the All of Us research program is really all about. I was looking at, and when we were talking about diabetes, and for the All of Us research program, we have almost 55,000 participants say they have a family member diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in surveys. And, I always, when I was looking at that kind of reminds me what you mentioned, Dr. Izzard, as far as type 2 diabetes when people lose weight. I've always heard people say, I need to lose weight and then I don't have to take this medication.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like what you were insinuating there, as far as like when people, like your liver has a hard time trying to digest things. And so that insulin really is a challenge for people. But also it was interesting because there's over 430 research projects that are using the All of Us researcher workbench to study diabetes. So there's a lot of information that's going on right now with the All of Us research program that when you participate, you can also be within that study. And so, this is really interesting. I thank you, Dr. Isser, for talking about the drugs related to weight loss, because a lot of us have been hearing about it. I know I recently went to see my physician and I was thinking about asking him, but I know he would have told me,
Well, it's funny you mentioned that.
because I was like, and I was like, he already told me you need to exercise more. So, okay, you're out of weight, you're out of shape. Okay.
Right.
So go ahead.
It's just funny you mentioned that because, after hearing all that, you said, oh, well, man, why aren't we all using this? And you could probably guess the problem. It's expensive.
Yes.
It's $1,200 to $1,300 a month.
Wow.
If you pay for it, and a lot of most insurances won't cover it, and so and there's a disparity. African American people are having a harder time getting that medication than other people.
I thank you for that. This is Karen Dotson from the All of Us research program, and you are here to sit around the table today at 860 WNOV and 106.5 FM. We're going to ask that you, if you have a question, you can call in. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back. And so please give us a call at 414-444-5250. And I'm going to say that again because people were telling me I was saying it too fast last time. And so now you can grab your pen and paper. And if you have a question for Dr. Izzy, he's going to be with us on the first top of the hour, but then he'll be leaving us. So please call in at 414-444-5250. See you back on the other side.
Don't you know that we're in this love together? And like berries on the vine, get sweeter all the time.
Calling all high school students. Do you act, sing, or play an instrument? Are you a scientist, filmmaker, playwright, or visual artist? If so, the NAACP Afro Academic Cultural Technological Scientific Olympics program is for you. Sign up to compete in the local AXO competition on Sunday, April 21st. Gold medalists will automatically win an opportunity to compete at the National NAACP AXO competition in Las Vegas, Nevada this summer. With 32 AXO categories to choose from, there's definitely room to shine. For more information about the NAACP AXO program, visit NAACPMKE.org or call 414-562-1000.
When it comes to advertising, we at Mary H. Bryant Radio TV Print LLC can build a strong relationship with your customers. Mary H. Bryant's traditional strength is in delivering your announcement frequently. We go where your prospects go. We don't care. At work, in the car, at home with television, through radio, television, print, and billboards, we reach your prime prospects numerous times. Let's face it, getting your announcement through to the prospects these days is a challenge. We can focus your advertising on your best prospects by age, sex, income, and psychographics. And this can really help you move your products and services quickly in order to address the retail strategy. Let Mary H. Bryant Radio TV Print reach your prospects before they even enter the buying arena. We will make your announcement take center stage and you'll beat the competition. So increase your quarterly profits today by calling 414-463-6977. 414-463-6977.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something that they take well. Personally, Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't, because helping you get the coverage you want with the savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Milwaukee Allstate agent Cindy Johnson at 414-445-2558. That's 414-445-2558 today for a free quote. Home, auto, renters, condo, and more. Sydney, Nancy, and Lyndon can't wait to meet you.
Subject to terms and conditions and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Are you ready to take your self-care routine to new heights? Introducing Bird Songs, your one-stop destination for all natural body essentials. Now open at our brand new location, 7123 West Greenfield Avenue. That's 7123 West Greenfield Avenue. Come check out an extensive collection of body oils, shea butter, soaps, hydrating lotions, refreshing shower gels, and enchanting incense. For more information, please visit birdsongsonline.com.
Support also comes from the Milwaukee Art Museum, now presenting Idris Khan, Repeat After Me. Spanning his entire creative journey, the exhibition is the U.S. Museum debut for the British artist. Through photography, sculpture, and painting, visitors will witness Khan's exploration of repetition to mark time. More info is at mam.org.
WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
Good morning. This is Karen Dotson from the All of Us Research Program at the Medical College of Wisconsin, and you're joining us at the table this morning. And we do have a caller, so we would like to bring this caller on. Hello, caller, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning to you and the doctor and the rest of your guests.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The question I have, my husband is diabetic. My biggest concern is he is type 2, but he is on metformin. He's also on insulin and Ozempic. And I was told that is to keep his organs to protect his organs or his legs or whatever. How can he be on type 2 with all that is insulin to me? Now, the doctor, the great doctor you have there, I try to make healthy meals and things like that and get on them about snacks. I say you can have an orange and you can have this. But you cannot keep eating what you want and then say, oh, if I take a shot, I'll be okay. This is his attitude. He takes his shots and all that. But that's a lot of insulin, and I am worried. Can you help me with that?
Oh boy, yes, all the time. We women are a lot better about accessing healthcare and getting their stuff done than men are. A lot of guys, unless we're having a heart attack or unless we need Viagra, we're not seeing the doctor. And so so it's not uncommon for someone who's got type 2 diabetes to be on a combination of medications, including insulin on top of other medications. And so my guess is that he probably has what's called a basal insulin, where he takes it once a day. Yeah. So what basal insulin does is just kind of it's a long lasting insulin. You take it, an injection, and it lasts 24 hours, and it kind of lowers everything as opposed to.
I'm sorry, doctor. He takes it twice a day.
Twice a day? Okay. Yeah. So he may take it twice a day. So, but the idea is that it's going to lower everything as opposed to some of these rapid acting insulins you take just when you eat. If you can convince him, and good luck with this, if you can convince him to lower his carb intake. Lately, let me give you a little bit of the disclosure about my own health. So I found out back in October that I had type 2 diabetes. And I know enough about diabetes. I said, "Oh man, I don't want to be diabetic. I know all the consequences and the stuff you got to change." And I said, "I don't want this." So I said, I'm making my mind. I'm going to lower my hemoglobin A1C. Now that's the test that we get that measures how your diabetes is doing. Normally, it should be below. A normal person would be below 6.5. And our goal is for most diabetics to be at least below 8, but below 7 if you can. So I said, I'm going to be by 3 months when we check this thing again, I want to be below 6.5. And so what I made up in mind, so I cut out snacks. I cut out sweets. I cut out, I used to love potatoes. I cut out, potatoes, potato chips,
bread.
I limit the bread. So I didn't go on this really strict, people on ketogenic diets and low carb diets, they can go really extreme. So I didn't go on that extreme, but I did say, okay, I'm not going to have rice, beans, potatoes, and I was not going to have any sweets. And pasta, right? There's the other one, right? So, but there's substitutes you can get for that. So if you like pasta, you can, the spaghetti squash is pretty good, so you find other things. And I looked at my A1C. Now, my A1C was 11, which to me, 11.6, which was crazy. I thought maybe I got cancer or something. And so I went on metformin, and again, I cut all this stuff out. And 3 months later, when I checked it again, in February, it was down to 6.4. So now I'm out of diabetes range. I'm back in the pre-diabetes range. So, but again, that's not just a brag on myself, but the idea is that because I've been treating diabetes for years, and I always, we always were taught that you give enough insulin, you can get anybody's blood sugar down, and that's true. But I started thinking about this in terms now of not just managing diabetes, but putting diabetes into remission, meaning that you're no longer diabetic. And so you don't need this medication or these things anymore. So that's what I've been trying to get patients to look at this now. So it's got to come from him. He's got to decide he wants to make these changes. Right. But he's got to, if he can go from being just treating diabetes to getting it actually, controlling it and getting rid of it, that should be the goal.
I just have one more question to ask you. I didn't want to hold you up.
Mm-hmm.
It is about his creatinine. In 2018, his creatinine was all over the place. And when he's in VA, so he goes out to VA. When I got off work, I came home, his hands were flopping and everything else. He really wasn't diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
We rushed him out to the hospital. They said they were going to put him on dialysis. The number, I guess, a level of pre-action was can't go over 3 or something like that, right? So what is the number that the pre-action can go over? Is it 3 or 5 or whatever?
Yeah, usually a normal creatinine will be like below 2, depending on what lab you're looking at. So,
The danger zone is
yeah. So we know that
was 13.
13. Yeah, we know that diabetics. Well, diabetes does a lot of things, and it affects a lot of organs. And one of the things it affects is the kidney. And so the blood supply to the kidney is bad, and so the kidney basically has to filter out all the the toxins and impurities.
It was a miracle.
Yeah.
They said they could not figure out. I didn't mean to keep you. The doctors out there could not figure out why he didn't go on dialysis. And they cut a piece of it. They still, to this day, they talk to him about it. We still can't figure this out. To this day, he told them, and I'm gonna let you finish this. I serve in the hospital.
I was gonna say, glory to God. Is that exactly what I was thinking?
That's right. When you.
Yeah, you too, man.
Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. We have another caller on the line this morning. Good morning, caller. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Doodle. Good morning, all the guests in the studio, Dr. Ed and all the other doctors.
Good morning.
Good morning, Milwaukee. Yes, Tyrone W. speaking. Thank you for taking my call. Oh boy, well, that's help to all, but what allows the body to neglect itself by overexerting or underexerting with the manufacturing of insulin or whatever, and then what type of foods should I know everybody talks, fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts, and things like that, but even in eating those things, what quantitates the body to shut itself down and stop producing the insulin or overproducing, and what is it more than one, or is it just one? Several things. What allows the body to say, well, I'm not going to produce this force anymore, and then you're on to diabetic. And I'll just see over here.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, Tyrone, the problem and this is with a lot of things that affect our health is that we're too good, meaning that our bodies are designed to eat at a certain time, and then there's certain seasons where your body stores up fat and stores up things because they know that in the wintertime, in those lean months, you're not going to have it. So your body is designed to kind of, when you eat stuff, to turn that food stuff into energy. Well, for us, we got stuff all over the place. We're eating all day. We're eating too much. And so that's really the trigger, is that your body can't handle all that glucose it's getting, all that fat it's getting. And so it has to do something. So your body naturally is going to store it. So when it's stored up all that fat you ate and it can't put anyplace else, well, now the liver starts to get fat because now it's got too much fat. So then it starts putting fat in other places. And so those adipocytes, those cells that store fat, actually make other hormones. They're actually metabolically active, meaning that they make hormones. They make estrogen and other things. And so all those things kind of feed back on one another. So these processes, why do we become diabetic, or why do we have high cholesterol? Why these things happen? It's all the interaction between our lifestyle, what we're eating, our activity level, and our genetics. Because some people, I got patients that are 300 pounds, and you look at them, you swear they're diabetic, and you look at them, you check their blood sugar, that they're not diabetic. Other people, they're thin and they're diabetic. So genes plays a large part of this. And so your genetics. So do you have a family history? Are your parents diabetic? Do you have siblings that are diabetic? It's a very complex thing. It has to do with the food you're eating and how you eat it too. So, are you someone who big thing now is intermittent fasting. You might have heard of that, where some people, will control their diabetes or control their weight by they can eat whatever they want for 5 days a week and they fast for 2 days, or they might eat during a 6 hour period and fast for 8 hours. So that is helpful for a lot of people. So it varies. And again, it comes down to this whole thing about what works best for you. But yeah, I would say that the big thing is stress, because stress increases hormone levels, cortisol and other stress hormones. Not getting enough sleep also is very closely associated with weight gain. And again, and then the foods we're eating.
That's really interesting, Dr. Izzard, because we're going to close out the show today talking to Dr. Zeno Franco, and some of that's going to be related to stress and some of those things of that nature as well. But we have one more caller on the line. We have two more callers on the line. We'll take the next caller. All right, this is a hot topic, and it's so involved in our community as far as the challenges that we have with diabetes. And so, next caller, you're on the line.
Good morning. I appreciate you taking my call. I just have a question. It's kind of related to the topic that you're speaking on right now. So say you're not diagnosed as having diabetes, and I know what the fasting numbers are. Like, I think it's below 100.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, say a non-fasting, using the home glucose meter.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a non-fasting, and you test your blood sugar in the morning. Is there a number that it should be at, or that you should be alarmed about? And after that question, in the afternoon, if your readings are a lot lower, like around 89 or whatever, 90 or something like that, but it's higher, a little bit higher in the morning, is there a reason for that?
Oh, yeah. So first of all, there are four different ways we use to diagnose diabetes. Any blood sugar at any time, a random blood sugar over 200 is not normal. That's diabetic. Okay, so if anyone has a blood sugar, you should be able to eat a cheesecake and entire cheesecake, and your blood sugar shouldn't be over 200.
Oh, my goodness.
If it's over 200, that's abnormal. Okay, so that's one way to diagnose diabetes. Another way would be to do a fasting blood sugar. So after an 8 to 10 hour fast, you check your blood sugar. It should be below 100. Okay, but what we call diabetic is that if it's over 126, at least two separate occasions fasting, that's diabetes. The third way would be to do what's called the third way would be to do what's called a glucose tolerance test. And that's what we do is we have you come in, we have you fast, drink some glucose, a measured amount of glucose, and see what it does to your blood sugar. It shouldn't get over 140. But that's glucose tolerance test is the other way that we can check for blood sugar. And the last way, and the way that's actually become more popular, which I prefer, is this test called a hemoglobin A1C. So what it does is it's looking at the effect that glucose has on your hemoglobin, which is of course on your red blood cells. And so the reason why we use that measure, not because it does anything to the hemoglobin, but it's a direct correlation between your average blood sugar. So you can eat something in the morning and check your hemoglobin A1C. It's not going to go up or down one way or the other. It's looking at your sugar average over 2 or 3 months. So, and that way it gives you a better idea, because it's not going to depend on, because when you do that fasting blood sugar, it's going to depend on what time of day it is. And I'll talk about this too. It's going to depend about what time of day it was, how active you were, what you last ate, when you ate, things like that. Now, for diabetics, there's a situation or a condition called the dawn phenomenon. Okay, where people, when you're asleep, you don't have, your body's not doing too much. It's basically on pause. And then when you wake up, now you can be more active. So your body knows that, and in anticipation of that happening, your body will start releasing hormones to raise your blood sugar, because I'm going to be active, I need more blood sugar. So if you look at people who, you'll see it's more pronounced in people that are diabetic. They overnight, their blood sugar might be low, but at 6 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. or whatever time is, they get up. And right before they get up, their blood sugar starts to rise. And it has nothing to do with eating because they haven't had anything to eat all night. But it's a hormonal thing that as your body is anticipating that you're going to need more energy. And so, yeah, you might notice that your blood sugar, you might check it at 6 a.m. and it's one thing, and you haven't had anything to eat. And now at 8 o'clock, it's a lot higher.
Okay. So like a 120 range or something, is that a non-fasting 120 or?
Yeah, non-fasting 120 is good. Yeah, so a normal person's blood sugar will easily be in the 70s, 80s without a problem. You're not going to feel hypoglycemic. You're not going to feel like your blood sugar is too low. So yeah, that's fine. Now we get concerned if it starts getting below 60, like in the 50s and things like that. But for the most part, yeah. So your blood sugar should be ranging somewhere between well, again, depends on when you eat and things like that. But a fasting blood sugar should be around 100, or below 100. Ideally.
Okay, I'll hang up and taking my call.
Well, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have one more caller on the line, and I know that we're getting short with time, but we're going to take this next caller. Caller, you're on the line.
Good morning. I'll be very quick. Great show, great show, great show. Questions are: is Dr. Izzard taking new patients? What do you do, or what is your opinion on Black men seeing Black doctors, or Black women doctors, or white male doctors, or white female doctors? And then where can I go in person to sign up for the research? I figure that the world already has my DNA out there. So
that's right. That's what I tell people all the time. That's so correct.
They already know about me, so why not participate in this study for my future, my legacy or whatever? So I think I heard it earlier, but can you announce that and I'll pick up and listen? Thank you.
Okay.
Well, first of all, thank you for that because that is a point. We're trying to get, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And so we need to be not only just being part of this study. We need to be demanding that we be part of these studies because there are people that are making medications. They're making tons of money, and we want to know. Well, did you look at us? When you did these studies, and if they don't have to, they're not going to because it's more effort to do that because we have some natural resistance to this because of things that have happened to us in the past. So yeah, I understand that people are reticent about Tuskegee and things like that, but we got to get out of that mindset because we got to start thinking about our own health. And if these studies aren't being done, these new medications are coming out, and they haven't looked at us. Well, how do we know it's going to work for us? It's not going to have problems. So that's my word on that.
And I wanted just to add that that's something that we've been really pushing along with Dr. Izzard is trying to get our community more involved in research, and plus with the All of Us research program. So you're going to be seeing in the next couple of months that we're going to be in our communities even more concentrated to get more of us involved. And so thank you for calling. And then I think there's one you wanted to know about where you can sign up. And so I'm going to give you the phone number. You can call 414-955-2689. That's 414-955-2689. Or you can go to joinallofus.org, and that way you can also sign up online. But if you have challenges with that, just call. Now, I think Dr. Izzard, there was one more thing. Yeah, go right ahead.
So it's a problem with people that want Black doctors. That there are very few of us, unfortunately. And so I would direct you probably to one of the community health centers, Milwaukee Health Services. If you're looking for a Black doctor, but I would say in general, we got whoever you're seeing, whether they're Black, Asian, Hispanic, get somebody who you can relate to, and who's honest with you, who can communicate with you, because that your doctor, your primary doctor, get a primary doctor first of all too, because you go to specialists and they take care of that one issue. So you see the kidney doctor and they take care of your kidneys. They're not going to talk about so much about your other stuff. So find a primary doctor who you can relate to and who's going to be advocating for you, because this healthcare system is very tricky. And you want someone who's going to go to bat for you if something ever happens. Like when I've had patients in the hospital, and if they felt like they were mistreated, I personally go there and I said, look, this is my patient, and this is what happened. And invariably, they'll send someone from administration to go down and talk to the patient to find out what happened. But you need someone fighting for you and advocating for you.
So I think the caller had one more question. They asked, "Were you taking new patients?"
Oh, I am taking new patients, but I'm doing what's called direct primary care. So I'm working for this company that that contracts with mostly with self-insured companies, and so you can still see me, but it's a little tricky. So, but what's the best way to do that? Best way to do that was just Google my name, and I'm at with Everside Health now. Marathon Health. But yeah, I am taking new patients, but it's a little trickier in how to do that.
Yeah. And then, go right ahead. The question is from the question on right around our table is that who do you go to? Who do you trust? And it's kind of interesting because, that is a question for the doctors.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
Dr. Izzard, you want to answer that question?
Well, doctors are the worst patients
because you know too much.
Yeah, right. And so you're prone to treat yourself. This is the person who has themselves as a doctor as a fool for a patient.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's
right.
So it was kind of interesting because you talked about your diabetes situation and how you really analyze yourself. So you were doing research in a sense on how you could lower things naturally, and it worked. And so that just goes to show you. Sometimes I think that God gives us certain things to help us that also help others, and so that sounds like what happened there for you as well.
Yeah. But I think I want everybody to get in that mindset. So trust your doctor and confide in them when things are going on. But your body is your body, and so you have to be responsible for it beyond anybody else. And so if you have a condition, read about it. You can learn stuff about diabetes. You can read, and so sometimes what you want to do might not necessarily be what the doctor's recommending, but at least have that conversation. Why do you not recommend me taking this? Or why do you want me on this? Or why should I do this test? Or, should I go on that? Why should I go on dialysis? What are the other alternatives to that? So, getting that mindset that take control of your health.
And I just wanted to mention one more thing is that, Dr. Izzard, you're going to be actually talking to the Black Men in White Coats Youth Summit, and that's going to be May 4th from 9 to 2 o'clock. Because I heard the woman that called earlier indicating the importance of getting, people of color to provide care for us. And this is a way of getting all students grades 6 through, people that are in their bachelor's degree. Parents and educators can be also involved in this. And so this is really welcoming people to learn more and to also encourage our children to be more involved in that. So Dr. Izzard, I know we're getting ready to go on break, but can you just kind of talk about that for a few seconds?
Yeah. Speaking of, having a number or access to, to Black doctors or people of color, we realize that there are very, very few of us, and unless we start creating more, we're not going to fix the problem. And creating more means that we got to start back in elementary school, and to start getting kids interested in science and to start preparing, because it takes years to become a doctor. And so part of this Black Men in White Coats is that we're trying to encourage kids to get interested in science, to start thinking about what do you want to be when you grow up. And hopefully some of those kids, will go on to go to college, go to medical school, and become doctors. Because I'm getting older, and I need someone to replace me. And I remember back when I first came out of medical school and meeting Dr. Pruitt and Dr. James and Dr. Parker and Dr. Lovesey, all these people, and they were like, "So we need you to replace us. We need you to get ready because we're getting retirement age." And so now I'm there where they were.
I appreciate that. And people, if you have young people that are interested in participating in the Black Men in White Coats Youth Summit, you can call 414-955-4350. That's 414-955-4350. We had Dr. Izzard here today that really educated us on diabetes. That was really a hot topic. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. This is Karen Dotson. We're at the table this morning with Dr. Izzard. We're going to come back with Deb Nevels. And this is 860 WNOV 106.5 FM. We'll see you on the other side. Thank you.
And Vice President Kamala Harris are working hard for Black America. They sent $1,400 cash relief checks when they were needed most. Our wages are up. We've got millions of new good-paying jobs, and the cost of insulin is capped at $35 for seniors. There's more to do, but it's clear that on the economy, Black America is getting ahead with President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
Prom is here, and graduation is near. Stop by Nicovani's, where they have a large variety of suits, blazers, and shoes to get you right for that special day. You already know Nicovani has the $100 hookup. You can get a suit, shirt, tie, and shoes, all for just $100. Nicovani's, open 7 days a week, with an on-site tailor. Nicovani's on the second floor of the Mayfair Mall, across from the movie theater.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Are you ready to make a lasting impression? Look no further than Great Impressions Graphics and Printing. With over 25 years of excellence in the industry, we specialize in delivering top-notch printing solutions tailored to your corporate needs. Business cards, brochures, banners, annual reports, apparel, and promotional items. Our state-of-the-art technology ensures unmatched quality and precision. Call 414-536-7646 or visit greatimpress.com today to learn more. Trust Great Impressions to exceed your expectations and elevate your brand to new heights.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Are you tired of that old junker taking up space in your driveway? Well, say goodbye to the clunker and hello to Cash at Select Auto Parts, your one-stop shop for all things auto. We buy junk cars for top dollar and offer a wide selection of used auto parts, guaranteed to keep you riding smoothly without breaking the bank. Be sure to inquire about our tire deals. New or used, we've got you covered. For more information, please call 414-763-3474 and visit Select Auto Parts at 2500 West Cornell Street.
You're listening to WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
I just wanted to say welcome back to everybody. This is Karen Dotson from the All of Us Research Program at the Medical College of Wisconsin. You're listening to 860 WNOV on 106.5 FM. You know, we've been at the table today having some serious discussion. And I love it when you callers call in to the listeners call in to really ask questions and find out a little bit more. And we've been taking advantage of Dr. Kevin Izzard, so we want to make sure we welcome him back next month. But right now, I'm going to talk to Deb Nevels, and Deb, she is the program manager for the Community Outreach and Engagement Cancer Center. Good morning, Deb.
Good morning, Karen. Thank you so much for having us on again.
You know, it's always a pleasure. Last month, I should say, we had some serious conversation about cancer, and we also talked about some of the screenings that you do. I wanted to bring you back to also have conversation more about some of the services that are going on with the institution around cancer prevention, cancer care, and also cancer research. So can you give us an overview, Deb, of what's been going on?
Sure. We have been really trying to make sure that we are in the community and listening to the community. The way that my office approaches and the Cancer Center approaches working in the community, people always talk about, well, I'm trying to work to gain their trust. But this position that we're taking is that we need to be there so that we show that we are worthy of the trust of the community. And so by being there, we're being present. We've been at several of the different churches in the community. We had a colorectal during last month, urban ministry, working with the urban ministry group and 40 different churches. We were able to do a luncheon, it was lunch, over at Calvary about colorectal cancer and get people out to know a little bit more about that, answer some questions with that. We also, this weekend, will be over at Christ the King, working with their men's ministry, talking about prostate cancer. It will feature one of our prostate cancer survivors, our health griot, Mr. Eddie Brooks, and he has been trained about talking about his story. And so if we have people out in the community, I mean, I can go and talk about prostate cancer, but I don't have a prostate, and I'm not a survivor. And so it's more important that you see someone who has been diagnosed and who is living well because of after the diagnosis. So doing health education in the community is a big part of what we are doing, and being present is the philosophy of the medical college as a whole, being there to support and being there to listen and look and collaborate with existing assets in the community.
You know, Deb, one thing that was really interesting to me last time when we started having discussion about cancer and we had call-ins with people, the screening, and also the issue about getting involved, your community, our community, you know, your church, these different organizations. How can people, if they say like, you know, Deb Nevels, I would like to have something at my church, or we're having this health fair. Kind of talk about some of the things that you all are able to do to get more involved in those congregations and to those organizations within the community.
Definitely. You can definitely give a call to our office. My direct number, 414-955-2364. If you belong to any type of organization, we are more than willing to come out and do presentations, collaborate with you on any health fairs that you're planning. One of the things that we like to do is not necessarily to bring a table and just pass out education materials. I tell people all the time, I'm so blessed to work on a campus where I can look in any direction and get someone to speak about any health topic, whether it be about mental health or whether it be about cancer, diabetes that we were talking about earlier, including, which you'll touch on with our other guests, programming for youth that's going on our campus. We can bring that there to you. So it may not even be me that comes there. I like to think of myself as more of a convener. Those who know Reuben Harpel, he is notorious for this. I bring people together and then you move out the way. And so I like to be able to connect people. And so yes, of course, I want cancer prevention in our community. I want people to get their screenings and have access to that care. But I also want to help promote individuals knowing more about what's offered through the medical college and Freighter, and then also to get other doctors, other people in the community, so they can also hear those same voices that I hear.
Now, you mentioned screenings, and I know that you're able to do some of those things when you go
Mhm.
into the community. Can you just kind of talk more about some of these screenings, Deb?
Definitely. I have some phenomenal partners in Nurses Affecting Change. I was first connected with them through one of my mentors with the Black Nurses Association, Dr. Sandra Underwood, who connected me to Bonnie Anderson, who has a cadre of nurses who come out into the community to teach women about self breast exams. And it's not like the breast exam that you get at the doctor. You go in and they teach you how to do the exam yourself. And so I can bring them out to do those exams. And then we also have an incredible partner with Wisconsin Diagnostic Laboratories who will come out and do prostate screening. So those are the two that we are working with. In the community, we also support Erica Sinclair with Health Connections. Love to collaborate with her because she brings so much of the primary care, such as vaccines and other prevention tools. So it is not just cancer screenings, which we can do. In the cancer screenings, all I need is a small room and some tables. All I
Wow.
need. Yep. All I need is like for the blood draws, I just need like an office. And for the breast exams, a classroom would work. But those nurses, and the critical part of their work, it's not just teaching you about how to do the exam, but then when you come out, they check to see, are you due for a mammogram? Are you connected to a primary care provider? And they follow up. So they have a community health worker that also comes and works with them whenever they do screenings, and they navigate you to care afterwards. And there is a gift card that you get for getting the exam. And then once you get your mammogram, you have a voucher that you get signed off. And then that voucher, then you send it back in and you get another gift card once you complete your mammogram. Nurses Affecting Change does this not only in partnership with us, but they travel around the city almost every weekend. There can be found at one of the housing developments or at any of our churches. So
Wow. So people can you give them that number again, and don't do it so fast because people were getting on my
they
case
were getting
last
on you,
time
and I did
about
the
us
same
throwing
thing.
out those numbers so fast.
Yes,
So if you
yes.
could just give people the number as far as,
Mhm.
and I want to encourage people not only, what Deb was talking about related to bringing in those cancer screenings, but we also at the All of Us Research Program, we can come into your church, into your organization, and we can set up our team to help you enroll into our program and also to collect the biosamples with our clinicians as well. So, Deb, can you give them the information as
Yes.
far as how they can reach you
Yep.
and how people? And so, I want to encourage those listeners to really start talking to their pastors, talking to
Please.
the leaders in your congregations to say, we would like to have the Medical College of Wisconsin staff come in to do some cancer screening, to come in to do the All of Us research program. So, Deb, can you give them your number, please?
Sure. And I will go slow. 414-955-2364. That's 955-2364. And not only your pastors, because all of us here work with the churches, but there's other groups that you may be part of, whether it's sororities or fraternities, any type of, one of the things I have, one of my friends, Jazzy Ray, who's having her Divas Brunch in August. I'm plugging everybody.
No, that's
But
good.
we're doing
Yeah.
breast exams there. We will be
Okay.
doing it. We did it last year. Nurses Affecting Change came out. But her husband is the head of a bikers group, and we want to work with them around prostate cancer. So anytime you have a group of people gathering and you have a question about health, no matter what it is, especially if it's cancer, I can help you. But if it isn't cancer, I will find somebody who can help.
And that's really interesting because the weather is going to start getting nicer and people start having these family reunions and gatherings. I mean, that would be a great opportunity as well, right, Deb?
Yeah, with family reunions, we can provide you with education materials that you can pass out, shower cards for the women to pass out. We have what we call health passports for both men and women to keep track of your vaccinations and your exams, and just being able to have the conversation. We are always also looking to train volunteers who also want to bring the message out to their community. But one of the things too is if you know of survivors or co-survivors. We have a caregiver retreat that's coming up on June 1st. And that's going to be held at Mount Mary. You can use that same number to call me and I can get the information to you. But we want to pamper our caregivers.
Where's Mount Mary? Where's that location? Can you give us a rough idea?
Really? Did you really just do that
I
to
just
me?
did that, yes.
91st and Burleigh.
Okay, 91st and Burleigh. Okay.
Near 91st and
Yeah,
Burleigh.
so I just want to know
Yep.
that area. So if
Mhm.
it's somewhere around there, so people have an idea, Deb. I didn't try to put you on
Yes,
the
you
spot
did.
there.
That's
No,
okay.
I did.
I still love you. It's okay.
But I think it's really important because I want people to really see that we are all over the community. We are not just in one place. The Medical College of Wisconsin believes in integration of getting into the community to bring it to you. And that's what I wanted to really, say, like, this is the area here, because we're going to also have our other guests. They're going to be talking about the areas as far as some of the things that they're involved with. And so, Deb, I just want you to give that number one more time, and then you're going to stay around because we still have
staying
some more
around, yeah.
conversation because we're going to be sitting at the table with our guests. So, Deb, you want to give that number one more time?
Sure. That number is 414-955-2364.
Thank you, Deb. And, around the table, I have some more guests, and I'm really excited about saying good morning to you all. We have Exie Walker. She is with the Clinical Transitional Science Institute, and she is actually a coordinator for this program. And she's going to be talking about some of the things that she's doing in the community. And then also we have Bishop Young. And I wanted to say welcome to you as well. But you work also with the Clinical Transitional Science Institute at the Medical College of Wisconsin. And you all are doing some wonderful things. And I'm just going to kind of let the community know what is it. And we call it CTSI. And the mission to this program and to the mission, I would say, to this whole entity, because it is very large within the medical college. And it is really, the mission is to make the best medicine better and to get more treatments to more people more quicker. And I saw that and I was like, this is exactly what you all are doing. So I'm going to ask if you all can just give us an overview of some of the work that you're doing with Dr. Doria Ward. She has really been very, very involved in the community and also working on different grants to bring in more resources for our community. And so I'm going to ask if you all can start speaking to that. And Essie, I'm going to ask if you could start.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Okay, I would like to start off with our community care initiative. So part of our community care initiative, we have a community care unit that we have partnered with Wisconsin Northwest Jurisdiction of Churches. It is located off of 40th and Center Street. And at that community care unit, we offer screenings. One of the screenings is for cardiovascular, where we'll screen for hypertension and atrial fibrillation. And for each screening, you'll get $25.
So can you, we know about the high blood pressure, but can you kind of give us a little bit more information about the other tests that you just mentioned?
The hypertension?
No, the other one, the
Atrial fibrillation. Yes, that's in the same screening day. So they'll screen you for both in the same day.
So what are people like when you're screening them? What exactly is it? Because I want the community to know, what
it's just
what
a
are you
little.
doing?
It's just a little device. It's non-intrusive. So basically, you come in. They'll ask you some questions about your nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
Your maybe some medical history, some things like that, and then they'll actually give you a little. It's like a little EKG. It's like it's non-invasive, and so they test you on that to see where your numbers are, and they let you know right away.
So they kind of hook you up to something to get that test, or how do they
No,
get
you're
it?
not hooked up. It's just a little handheld device.
Okay, so you
Yes.
hold this device,
Yes.
and then they are able to screen and see exactly what's going on with you.
Yes, absolutely.
See, I want people to know that it's not so complicated to get screened. That's where I'm going with this.
Yes,
Because I think that people are always so fearful, like you're going to just stick me, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And now a lot of times people, are hesitant about going in to get screening. So go right ahead.
Okay. And then also last year, we started screening for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And again, that's just a handheld device where the doctor comes in and he just scans your liver. It takes about 10, 15 minutes, and he'll let you know your status right away. If you have zero signs of fatty liver disease, or if you have stage 1, which is mild, stage 2, which is more medium, or stage 3, which is more severe. And the goal is for you to know so that you can start making changes to reverse it.
Okay. And we were talking about that earlier with Dr. Izzard related to diabetes. And so the screening is very important for us because a lot of times it's gone unknown. We don't even know that we have fatty liver. And so how can you do something about it if you don't know? And I always say knowledge is power. And I know Deb and I have always said that on our conversations, that when we get out in the community, we want to make sure that we let our people, our community know that the more you know, the better you're able to then do something about it. And is there a cost for this screening?
It is no cost. It is free to the community. And then we'll also offer you a $25 gift card for coming in to get screened.
And how often? And this is actually connected like right next to a church. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
elaborate a little bit about that?
It's a single family home, all brick single family home right next door to the church, and they converted it to look more like a screening. I won't say a clinic. It's not really a clinic. So we want to make it kind of like family friendly. So there are screening rooms. So then when you come in, you just feel like you're at home.
Yeah, I've actually been to that facility and it is very warming. That was one of the projects with Dr. Ward that she wanted to bring into the community. And so that was really about a couple of years ago or so that you all have been there. And how often are you there for people to do this work?
Right now, we're there once a month doing the cardiovascular screenings, and we're scheduled to start doing fatty liver screenings in April, towards the end of April or early May.
So if people are interested, because this is free, and then also when people come, they also get a $25 gift card too.
Yes.
So that at least will pay for some of the gas because gas is kind of high now. So at least we compensate you for some of that. So can you give us the phone number for people that are interested in coming to get the screenings?
Absolutely. If you are interested in coming in for screening, I will give out my work number so that we can get you connected to the right clinicians. The phone number is 414-955-4872.
Okay. Can you say that one more time?
One more time. It's 414-955-4872.
And this is for people to get screening on what exactly, Exie?
You can come in to get screening on cardiovascular, which is the hypertension, and we say AFib, which is atrial fibrillation, or you can come in for screening for the fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Okay. When you say non-alcoholic, explain.
Because a lot of people think, I thought myself that you could only get fatty liver disease from drinking alcohol, but that's not the case. Fatty liver can develop in your body from eating bad foods. It's our diet.
Yeah, the foods that we like, right? You said bad foods, but it's the foods that you like that you shouldn't eat, right? Like the chips,
sugar, yes,
all the things that Dr. Izzard was talking about earlier. That's something that we need to work on, but that's really helpful. So I really appreciate that. And what was that again?
It's located off of 40th and Center.
It's right by the Word of Hope Church.
Word of Hope.
Word of Hope Church.
It's right next door to Holy Cathedral. Yes. Word of Hope is the single family home right next door. I think it's like 2663 North 40th Street.
Okay, so that kind of lets people know it's right there on Center, right? Isn't
yes.
it? It's like
yes.
right, the church is right on Center, and
It's
then
right
you
on
go
Center,
next
yes.
door to it is where that facility is. And people would need to call in order to schedule a time to come in. They just can't
correct.
just automatically walk in because there's certain times. Now you mentioned you're there once a month. Do you know when the next visit you're going to be there yet? Or are you still scheduling that?
Our next screening event for April is Saturday, April 27th, between 8 and 12 o'clock.
Between 8 and 12, and they can do both screenings at that same time?
No, for that one, that's just cardiovascular that day. We're still planning a date for fatty liver. But
Okay.
you can still contact me and I can put your name on the list. So when we have a date, we'll let you know.
And these are free screenings. And so I want people to be aware because a lot of times you have vacancies that people don't really know about. And so I wanted to make sure that we bring you on the air so that way people will understand and know that these screenings are available to you free. And so we want to thank you for that. And there's some other things that you are doing also. And is that correct? Is that correct, Essie?
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
We want to talk about the other programs, the child
Yeah.
advancement. Okay, so we also have like the Child Advancement Network, which is where we focus on children ages 0 to 5 about brain development. Brain development begins when the mom is still pregnant. So that could be reading to your stomach while you're pregnant. And then once you deliver the child, then again further reading, talking with your child, not the goo goo gaga, speech, but actually talking about colors, bubbles, and in the bath water and things so forth. So that's our goal, to educate the moms, the community, grandparents, so forth about child brain development. And then we also have the 500 Stars Initiative, which is we're targeting, we'll say 16 and up. We're targeting youth to introduce them to the Translational Science Institute or the medical college and so forth. So with that program, it's a 6 to 8 week summer internship.
Okay.
Well, they'll be with a mentor, and at the end of the summer, they'll receive a $1,500 stipend for their participation.
Wow. So if people are interested in that, is there a number?
Absolutely. The
I
phone.
always like to get people connected because when you hear these resources, you want to make sure that you can get connected. So go ahead with the number.
Yes. We also have a website if you want to look, at it into it further. The website is ctsi.mcw.edu. And then the phone number again is our work number is 414-955-4872.
Okay. And, I have Micaiah Young and then Bishop Young with us also. He's the program manager at the Clinical and Transitional Science Institute. Good morning.
Good morning.
I would just like to hear from you because, one thing with our programs at the Medical College of Wisconsin, with Deb Neville's program, with the All of Us Research program, and also with your programs, we are always wanting to get involved with churches because we know that that's really a strong foundation in our communities, our churches. And so I was excited to know that you were on board with CTSI. And so can you give us a little overview about some of the things that you are doing and the involvement as far as with the community and also with the churches?
Absolutely. First of all, thanks so much for allowing us to be here. And I've got to give a special shout out to Dr. Doria Ward, who we are representing. She's the executive director. And it's her heart really to really get to the grassroots, to get into the community. And how better do you do that than to really work with the organizations that have been really feeding the community, have been the hub in the community. And I think that the churches historically have been the center of education, the center of gathering. It's been the primary place that people gather in the community. And so what we have been doing is working through churches and of course other organizations to get information to people about health and about matters that really impact not just individuals but communities. Everything that Exie talked about, and she is just a wealth of knowledge. Everything she talked about, those services cannot be taken advantage of if people don't know that they need it. There's this idea that what you don't know can't hurt you. But the truth of the matter is that what you don't know can kill you.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yes.
Even
yes.
Scripture tells us that people perish for what? A lack of knowledge. And so if you don't know better, you won't do better. So we've been having community forums, health forums, where health professionals come into the community and educate people about matters such as hypertension, diabetes, things that we just heard Dr. Izzard talk about, and fatty liver. Who knew that you could have issues with your liver if you don't drink alcohol? Or who knew that from eating certain foods and having excess fat in your body, that it is looking for somewhere to go, and it can lodge in your liver and cause fatty liver disease. When we bring these forums to the community, people are educated and they're enlightened, and then they have the responsibility of doing something about what they know. But when we do it together, then I think that the overall health of the community is improved. We have not just community health forums, but we have science cafes. And these science cafes, I believe, actually, they meet like twice every month.
That's
And
great.
some of them are in person, and some are also virtual, which people can, of course, join from anywhere. But the information is phenomenal. There was a community forum that we had recently dealing with oral hygiene and dental health. Who knew that your oral health is connected to hypertension and diabetes? And we left there, and so many individuals were enlightened and really began to be proactive with taking their dental health to another level, making those appointments. But then the next thing is, you can't just give people information, because information without resources to do something about it, causes the problem to continue to exist. So we fuse information with resources, which is what's happening with the community care unit. People are able to learn about things that are important to their health, and then they're able to do something about it, because the community care unit is in the area where the underserved population can have easy access to it.
I love that, because that's one thing about Dr. Doria Ward, is that she believes in providing information and educating the community, because she also believes that if we know something about it, most likely we're going to do something about it, right? And so knowledge is power, and that's something that we've been talking about throughout. We know that we work with a educational institution, and so obviously we believe in educating. As far as our organization, our institution, I should say, we've been able to get more involved in the community. And that's something that I know Deb Nevels is going to talk a little bit more about in the next in about another 15 minutes or so. But I wanted to stay focused as far as some of the things that you all have been doing at the clinical I would say to CTSI, and that's Clinical Technology Science Institute. And I always call it CTSI because that's what our acronym is, and that's what we say all the time. But I know the community wants to know, like, what is more involved with that. I was just talking with Dr. Ward yesterday, and she was just talking about these ensembles that were going on, that were just awarded to, will be awarded to some of the communities to have more conversation. And when we come back, I want to just ask you a little bit more about that. But right now, I just wanted to mention that this is Karen Dodson at the All of Us Research Program at the Medical College of Wisconsin, and you're listening to WNOV 860 AM, and we're at the table today, and we're doing some serious conversation. And if you have questions, feel free to call us at 414-444-5250. That's 414-444-5250. We'll be back. Thank you.
Call 414-763-3474 and visit Select Auto Parts at 2500 West Cornell Street.
Bacchus Insurance Group, along with Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing Incorporated, would like to present Mindful Mondays, a dynamic monthly gathering and wine tasting event designed to empower aspiring business owners and professionals to forge new paths in emerging industries. Join us April 8th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. to learn more about the podcast industry. Located at Greenwood Park Gallery and Framing at 4233 West Fond du Lac Avenue. For tickets, go to greenwoodparkgallery.com or call 414-444-5166.
The Wisconsin Home Energy Assistance Program end of the season is approaching. Don't miss out on benefits and help with your weed energy bill. Just go to keepwarmmke.org. It's made it easy for you to schedule an appointment. You may also call 414-270-4653. Don't delay. Call us today. Again, that's 414-270-4653. Or visit us online at keepwarmmke.org. This is administered by the State of Wisconsin Home Energy Plus Program.
Milwaukee. Hello, Milwaukee. Can you tell me why did
Miss Stacey Abrams?
This is she. I am very excited to be talking to you.
Mr. Troy Baker?
First and foremost, I'd say it's a personal thing. Quit tripping. Go vote.
Mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot.
I am with you. Good morning.
Choose WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM to talk to you. They knew that WNOV is the voice of the Milwaukee community. But did you also know that
Harold Mosley.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
The Honorable Congressman G.K. Butterfield.
WNOV, thank you for your sensitivity and your willingness to educate our community.
Donna Brazil
wanted to get their message to you, and they knew WNOV was the only station to use to get to the Milwaukee community.
Political parties are vehicles. You can choose to drive them or you can choose to walk, but you better not get on the road and don't know where you're going. We're not asking anybody to get away from the table. Just give me a chair so I can sit.
So what are you waiting for?
Milwaukee. Guess who's back? It's your man, Kevin Buchanan. Inviting you to join me each and every Friday night for the Friday Night Jukebox Party from 9 p.m. till midnight. I'll hit you with a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and of course, some of this. Each and every Friday night, it's the Friday Night Jukebox Party. From 9 p.m. to midnight, join yours truly, Kevin Buchanan, exclusively right here on 860 AM and 106.5 FM. WNOV, The Voice. WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
I want to welcome back everybody to the All of Us Research Program. And we're sitting at the table today, and I really have some interesting people sitting here today, people that are very knowledgeable about and committed to the work that they're doing in the community. I have Deb Nevels here. She's the program director at the Cancer Prevention at the Medical College of Wisconsin. I also have Micaiah Young. He is the program manager at the Clinical and Transitional Science Institute, along with Exie Walker, the program coordinator. And we were just talking about different screenings. And for people that are just joining us, we were talking about different screenings, your health screenings, and some of the opportunities that you can get free, how you can also request information and request individuals and a team of folks to come and do some services at your sorority events, at your church events, at your family gatherings, where you know there's going to be multiple people there. And I always tell people, especially when I'm looking at the All of Us Research Program, isn't it great? And don't you want to know more information about your DNA, more of your ancestry information, and you can get that information free from us. And you can get that by calling us at 414-955-2689. That's the All of Us Research Program, or you can go to joinallofus.org to get that information. But I wanted to bring back Essie and also Micaiah to really talk a little bit more about, there's something that the CTSI, the Clinical and Transitional Science Institute, and I want people to get that acronym because you're going to hear us talk about it. But there was something that was very special that happened within the last week or so. And this is something that CTSI is doing for the first time, and they're having the first community-driven, community-focused ensemble award. And those are going to be awarded to a total of how many institutions are going to be receiving those, or organizations, I should say?
Well, there are 5 ensembles that really it is, they're born out of unmet needs, health needs, and they're problem identifying ensembles. And so of these 5 ensembles, I think, and Exie can help me out, there's one that has to do with cardiovascular, obesity, and weight management. There is one ensemble that has to do with child mental health. There's another that has to do with oral hygiene or oral health. And there's another that has to do with women's health, and that is incontinence. Did I reach all of them?
Women's health. Yes, that's all 4. And then the 5th one is going to be the one with partnering with Dia Wright.
Correct.
Okay.
And that has to do with literacy, which is super important. So they will be, these awards will be in 5 different areas. We're not exactly sure, it is new, where they will be housed, but we do know that the overarching goal is to meet needs that have been unmet in certain areas and improve the overall healthcare with equity for all people in Southeast Wisconsin.
I think that's wonderful because what I love about this is that this is community driven.
Sure.
And so, we're seeking information from the community. So there's going to be more to come.
Yes.
And so this is just the beginning of this process. And I wanted to introduce that to the community because you're going to start seeing information about this.
Absolutely.
And then when you start seeing information about this, you will know then what exactly and how you can be involved in this process. Because, when you start looking at oral health, the dental problems we talked about the cardiovascular disease, the pediatrics, working with the youth, and also the women's health. And that's going to be stuff, similar to like urine health related. I can't say that right now. Urinary. Thank you. Talking too much. But health issues. And so, those are things that, we've had problems and challenges with, sometimes like having control or the leaking of the urine. There's going to be those conversations that we're going to have related to this. And so these are up and coming different kinds of services that will start being in the community to find a solution, to look at strategies that are going to help our community, help our people. Sure. Did you have anything else to say
and
about
one of the
that?
things I think that is really important to mention about this is what makes it an ensemble is that it is a collaborative effort. It is not just medical professionals or science telling the community what they need to hear or what they need to know, but it is the community participating as well in their health. So you have researchers, you have health professionals, and then you have patients, and then you have community members that work together to find solutions to improve the health of the community. And I think that's wonderful. Dr. Ward often says that what drives or what is the motivating factor for the work that we do in the community is the voice of the community. So listening to the community, what are they saying? What are the needs of the community? And that's how we discover what we need to address and how we need to come to the aid and the assistance of persons in the community to improve health.
And you know, one thing I love about Dr. Ward is she's also a Black woman that believes in community.
Sure.
She has one of those really, you know, strong positions in our institution that she has a voice and they listen to her and she makes sure that. And she also represents the community well. And so I'm always excited about the work that she's doing. And you know, when we brought you all on today, I wanted the community to hear more about what are you doing? What can, you know, what can people or individuals and listeners know to make a difference in their lives, and what resources are free? So I wanted to thank you both for coming today.
Thank you
And
for
it's been
having
a pleasure. And is there a number that people have questions about? I want you to give it out to them again about all the different things that we just talked about.
Sure. You can call Exie anytime.
All right. And Exie, what is that number?
Yes. My direct phone number is 414-955-4872. And also, please visit our website at ctsi.mcw.edu.
Thank you. And, you know, please take a note of it. You're going to start seeing in the community. I know also we mentioned one church, but there's another too that you all are going to be doing some work with, and that's Greater Galilee. Am I correct on that? Can you just briefly speak about that? And then we're going to take a break and we'll come back.
It's forthcoming. I think that there are details are still underway, but we're excited about expanding in the community. And soon there'll be another CCU that will be providing screenings and prevention care for people in the underserved areas of Milwaukee.
And you mentioned CCU, that's Community Care Unit.
Correct.
And so we're excited and we're looking forward to that. And so I want to thank you all for coming today.
Thank you for having
All
us.
right. All right. Deb, we have a couple things that we wanted to talk about, some things that are going on. And can you just kind of elaborate a little bit about what's been happening in the community? You know, for people that have been driving down Martin Luther King Drive, and you might have seen Thrive On. I mean, you're like, what is that? Well, you remember the old Schuster Gimbel building? You all, if we want to go way back in time, that building is going to be, it's called Thrive On. And it's an initiative that the Medical College of Wisconsin has been doing. It's going to be opening up probably in the next month or so. Am I correct on that, Dale?
Yes.
Okay. Can you elaborate and tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, Thrive On building. I'm really excited. Our offices will be moving there. I got to see it this week. It's gorgeous.
Without me? I thought we were supposed to do this together.
I didn't say that. Yeah, they snuck me in real quick between meetings. But yeah, Thrive On building is on King Drive, and you've seen a lot of construction. And the beauty of it, we've had as my colleagues from CTSI were speaking. We did the same thing with Thrive On. It is a collaborative endeavor between Greater Milwaukee Foundation, Royal Capital, and the Medical College of Wisconsin. And I'm excited about it because we did tea times through around the community in those neighborhoods where we had opportunity for individuals from the community to do visioning sessions. So they told us what they wanted to see in the building, how they wanted pieces of the building to be reflective of the community. And so there's been a lot of effort to get local artwork on that first floor. And the first floor is the community floor. And I tell people all the time, yeah, I have an office on the second floor, but if you really want to find me, I'm always going to be on the first floor because that's where the community will be. But there is a meeting rooms that are on the first floor. There's a stage that's built out. And it's just really exciting. We are planning on working with all of our partners to do education, to have monthly or weekly education sessions that will be offered there. But that's the building. And so some offices from the Medical College of Wisconsin that are moving up there, Office of Community Engagement for the Medical College as a whole is moving there. The Center for AIDS Intervention Research, CAPS, which acronym I cannot remember right now, so I'm so sorry. But there's several offices that are moving there, and then the Greater Milwaukee Foundation, they've already moved in this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're up there
What floor are
on
they
they're
on?
on the 4th floor.
Okay, yeah, because
Yep.
that building, so that's
Yeah.
I remember that building, and we used to go shopping there when we
Mhm.
were growing up, and it was very kind of intimidating because it was almost like it
Huge.
was huge when you
Yes.
were small and little, and
Mhm.
those escalators and all that stuff.
Yeah, and the escalators aren't there, but that staircase.
It's there?
The
Okay.
staircase is there, and it is. And the thing is that like the picture windows in the front, they are maintaining those. There's wood in the building on the 1st floor that is still it's being up. It's not being updated, but it's being cleaned and fixed up, and it is beautiful. It is so beautiful, and Royal Capital has been very deliberate, or all the partners have been very deliberate about maintaining the authenticity of the building and still to make it welcoming for the community. So we have a community advisory board that is part of the Thrive On project. I'm so proud that I got to work for them, I will say, in helping their dream come true with this. So shout out to the Thrive On Community Advisory Board. Shout out to Sydney Key. Who is the executive director over there. She is doing a phenomenal job of pulling together really good partners. Also on the 1st floor. So you have to stop me because I get excited.
No,
On the
go,
first
please.
floor,
I want to hear this. Yes.
on the 1st floor, we have partners. Maleka's Early Learning Center is going to be on the 1st floor. Also, Versity is going to be on the 1st floor. JobWorks is there also. So our 1st floor tenants will be moving in later on in the year, but all of the medical college should be in the building. I believe by the middle end of May, we should all be there. But yeah, Greater Milwaukee Foundation got in first, and then Center for AIDS Intervention Research is moving in next week. But it's exciting. It is truly
It really
exciting.
is, because we're able to utilize that building in the community at a
Yeah.
higher capacity.
Yes.
But there's also the inclusion of having community. And you mentioned as far as the 1st floor, because it's going to be encouraged for the community to come and,
Oh
do
yeah.
meetings and things like
Yes,
that there. Can you talk
please.
about that?
Yeah. So our building right now, there are some limitations because we are staffing up. So the building's only open from 6 to 6 during the week when it does officially open. And I will make sure that you get information about the grand opening because that will come later in the fall. But community members are encouraged to, when we get to the position where we can start holding meetings there on the 1st floor specifically, we definitely want the community to come in. This is their building, and the artwork. The artwork is incredible. It's all local artists.
Wow.
It's all local artists. And I
Can't wait to
do,
see it.
yeah, that team, Darlene and the rest of the team from Greater Milwaukee Foundation, and they have done an incredible job to cultivate some incredible artists. And they've done a really great job. They've done an incredible job.
This project has been going on, I think, isn't it about the 4th year or something,
It is
trying
the
to get
4th
this
year.
going?
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see what's going to happen. And I'm also excited that they're going to allow for sometimes all of us research program to come in and do what we do as well. So we're
Yes.
excited about the work that's going to take place in this building, but it's going to be right in the locations that's very accessible
Yeah.
to our community, and
Yeah.
they encourage different types of gatherings to be there as well.
Yeah, even we're across the street, and so an example of kind of what will happen there this Monday. There's another project that's going on through the Cancer Center, understanding prostate cancer disparities. It's been going on for a while, funding through the Greater Milwaukee Foundation, to be able to gather. We've been able to gather some men together for a period of time to understand why there are disparities in prostate cancer. And so now they are ready to launch their community conversations on prostate health events. And these are events where people that come and the community's welcome. The first one that we're having will be let me see, make sure, no, not at G's. The first one is called Masculine Mondays. It's happening on April 8th. Spouses are welcome. This is going to be happening at the City Center, 7035 North Water Street on the 7th floor, and that's from 5 to 7. There's another one, and people may be familiar. G has this Real Men, Real Talk at G's Clippers. So we'll be doing that one on April 15th. And we are so pleased. Quabana Nixon will be hosting that one. But what we're looking for is for opportunities for the community to come to these events and for the community to give us input and feedback on the work that's been done, the discussions we've had with other men, including clinicians, community members, prostate cancer survivors. But we want the community to come in now and see what the discussion's been about and then give us additional information. So yeah, those are, if there's any questions, you can call Alexis. Her number is 414-955-5851. And this is an example. When we get the building open for Thrive On, it's communication and conversations like that we want to have in the building.
Thanks, Deb. This is very, important information. Because I have been seeing that building for a while, and people have been asking me when we drive down on Martin King Drive, and it's great to see that we're going to have such a wonderful resource that's going to be made for the community as well. It's almost getting time to close, but before we do that, I want to bring on Dr. Zeno Franco. He is the co-PI for the All of Us Research Program at the Medical College of Wisconsin. He is also a clinical psychologist. And good morning to you, Dr. Franco.
Good morning, Karen. Good to be with you.
April is National Stress Awareness Month. And, one thing that we talked about earlier, Dr. Franco, is that when Dr. Izzard was on the line related to diabetes and how stress and everything plays a part of that. So I was just wanting to hear from you as far as, as it relates to the All of Us Research Program and some of the stress that kind of goes into our everyday lives. If you can elaborate a little bit about how people can really respond better to that and how research plays a significant role in that as well.
Yeah, thanks for that, Karen. I think, I'm helping people with stress and anxiety every day as part of just being a psychologist. And I think, sometimes people feel like something's wrong with them or, they don't really know how to control it. There's some basics to help out. But one of the things that we're also learning is that just our genetics can control some of that variability in how people respond to stress. So some people are more predisposed to be anxious or stressed by things that happen normally in life. And I think that actually helps reduce stigma around some of the mental health problems that, everybody faces in their life. Different people have it to different degrees, and some of that's based on genetics.
So when you say some of that's based on genetics, can you elaborate a little bit more about that, Dr. Franco?
Yeah, so, I think what we're finding is that it's a combination of how people are raised, what they're exposed to in terms of, day-to-day stress levels in the workplace, at home. And also there's a lot of different mental health issues that have some genetic component. And for stress, I think, the basics are really important for people. Remembering to do some deep breathing. There's what we call progressive muscle relaxation, which is basically just kind of scrunching up the muscles throughout your body. Taking a few minutes off, it's tough. People are parents. They're trying to get through the workday. There's a lot going on, but just trying to take care of the basics. But also thinking about, maybe there's somebody in your family who's particularly anxious. A blood relative. It might be that you also have some genetic component of a higher anxiety or stress response profile. And we're finding that is the case with a number of different mental health problems, that there is some genetic component for some people, not for everybody, but for some people.
I was just looking also when you talk about some of the stressors that happen in our everyday lives, and we start looking at the quality of sleep. And why is sleep so important to us? And, not getting enough of that, what does that really do to our bodies?
Yeah, sleep is such a critical, point of health across the board, and we've learned over time that when the body is resting and the mind is asleep, the immune system has a chance to reset. The body's actually repairing itself. The mind has a chance to kind of process information from the day, and that's a lot of what we're dreaming about at night. If we don't get time for really restful sleep, if we don't dream, the body starts to break down and doesn't have that chance to reset. And so, there's all types of problems with sleep. Some of it's anxiety and stress. I suffer from sleep apnea. I have to have a breathing machine every night. If I don't have the mask exactly right and there's a leak, it's tough to sleep. I mean, I'm just saying these are real problems for people. And so trying to set a schedule to go to bed, trying to have some calm before going to sleep, not having the television on. Those are some basics, right? What we call sleep hygiene. But we know that if people don't sleep well, their health outcomes are worse.
And one thing that you mentioned is that, because I also have a friend that has to use that mask, and that's just sometimes I think they feel like it's torture, especially for her husband when they have to stay in there and hear all that noise going on.
Yep.
But and also, I heard sometimes it gets cold because it has a fan, and so there's a lot of things that kind of go on with that. But for people that really need that encouragement, what do you tell people that, the importance of that?
There's just some adjustments that you have to make. And, we talk about sleep divorce with the married couples. It's a real thing. I can tell you personally, there's moments when I just abandon ship because I don't want to disturb my wife. That's life, right? And so we do our best, and, we adjust around it.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. But, Dr. Franco, we're going to definitely have to have you back on because you have a wealth of knowledge related to mental health and the different types of wellness that we need to consider through this process, and also how it's interrelated to the All of Us research program. So I want to thank you for joining us this morning. We will definitely have you back on the air. It's just about time for us to wrap up. This is Karen Dotson.
Always a pleasure, Karen. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Franco. This is Karen Dotson from the All of Us Research Program. I have Deb Nevels here from the Cancer Prevention as well. We want to thank you all for listening. And if there are topics that you want to know about, you can always call our office at 414-955-2689. That's 414-955-2689. And we can make sure that we bring on those individuals that will be able to give you more insight and more information. Once again, thank you for sitting at the table with us. It's been a pleasure. And I just want to say that I look forward to seeing and talking to people. And I know that you can also see us on Facebook next month, second Friday of the month from 7 to 9. Be blessed.
Together.